Hiya everyone, it's FC.Liverpool. Everything's all about Liverpool Football Club, which is great, And I have great guests on. I've got one already waiting, dying to have a rant, I suppose, dying to do everything. And that's the vase of flowers. That's a great lad. I was seeing him this morning on someone's pod, Jamie Phillips. And I'll be having him on right away. And in 10 minutes' time, we'll have Keith Taylor as well. Keith's a cracking lad. So we'll have him on as well. And I'm going to bring Lee on now. And there he is.
Right, mate. Yeah, just get this right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, you look lovely now.
Just put it down a bit because that's a very harsh glare of that light up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got one of those.
Like that. Yeah, that's good. Like
I've
that.
got a, one of those lights that's supposed to give you all the, the best profiles and everything. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. I just want to say, I'm just going to put this up a minute because I haven't put it up for a while. And it's that scarf or badge, Liverpool's finest T-shirts, and they are. Believe you me, they are all quality stuff. Every home game, they're open for a couple of hours. And people do go in there. Even Jamie Carragher, Roy Evans, they've all bought off them. They're that good. And they actually wear them when they're away. I wore mine, but unfortunately I lost them. I lost all my T-shirts from that scarf and badge, believe it or not, in when I was away a few weeks ago. Anyway, that's by the by. And that's that scarf or badge. You can go online. Believe me, it's good quality stuff. Please believe that. And his name is Michael Dean and Michelle Dean. Great people, really great people.
Yeah, I like the look of the stuff. Like the look of the
t-shirt. It's brilliant. It's brilliantly, absolutely brilliant. And I'd always like you to go on to this fella, Jamie Phillips. He's a lovely fella. He's a great supporter of Liverpool, and he gives it and says it as it is.
Yeah,
that's what kind of a fella. Well, you know him, don't you?
Jamie, good man.
He is a good man, and he just loves Liverpool. He just loves all the supporters. He loves everyone, like ourselves.
Do you know what, Frank? I made a comment on Jamie's thing earlier. I spent a lot of time in hospital as a child with asthma.
Whoa,
I never had a serious operation like Jamie's daughter, but I spent months of my life in hospital as a child, Frank. And you know what got me through? Lego. Lego and a few Roald Dahl books.
Well, I think that's good because when I was in hospital, with my aneurysm, I had the nurses, they were coming out and see how I was, and I was quoting Shakespeare, Oscar Wilde, and everyone. She went, oh. But anyway, when I get through this, I won't be a minute late, and then the comments are there coming in. Second fast. So Jamie Phillips, you'd ever honestly, Jamie Phillips football chats. He's brilliant. He really is. He's a good lad as well. Lovely lad. The Social One by Marios Manzos, and it's the bestseller in Liverpool at the moment. It really is, and he's a cracking lad as well. And he's on the Tuesday pod about Liverpool. And he's
our man in Athens.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the lads in Athens. Yeah, Marios. Well, don't you? You've seen him, haven't you, Lee?
Yeah, I saw Marios, and he's a good guy.
Yeah, and all these ones, the Lost Shankly Boy there, which is George Scott's. Look at that. Every book there by Jeff Goulding, as well. He's been on the show time and time again. And he said, listen, Frank, don't forget, get me on it. I said, I will, anytime. There's an open invitation for him anyway, but he's busy. I don't think he's too good at the moment either. And there's the Lost Shankly boy, George Scott's Anfield Journey. And it's brilliant. Jeff Goulden was his ghostwriter, actually. It's a cracking book. It really is. And can't get hold of this fella. Look at him. The voice of Anfield. He was on with my daughter. He loves my daughter. He thinks she's great. And
was George the voice of Anfield when you were a kid, George? Was he on the tannoy when you were a kid?
Yeah, when I was going, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been there for over 50 years.
Yeah.
50 years, George. And he's a lovely fella to go with it as well.
There's a lot of songs that remind me of The Standing Cop. And of course, in between the songs, you'd have George's voice. But there's a whole list of songs from the 80s that remind me of The Standing Cop as a child, like as a schoolboy.
That's right. This one as well by Keith Salmon. We had dreams and songs to sing. Think about that. We had dreams and songs to sing. Fantastic title. And that's that. So don't forget that Scarf and Badge, people. And there's Lee. Lee, I'm just going to go through some of these texts, if you don't mind, please.
Sounds, yeah.
Evening and a pint.
What's happened to the picture?
What picture?
Oh, sorry, it went off. It was me. It was mine.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it went black, and I thought it was the feed.
Someone's trying to turn you off instead of turning you on. The FC.Liverpool doesn't turn you on. Don't take it the wrong way. Even if Frank and Lee, says Stephen Snape.
Evening, Snape.
Lads and dads and detectorists. That's a cracker now. Hello, everyone. Hope all is good. God, I hate these international breaks, mate. I can't understand why there is another break so fast after the last one. Roll on, the Derby game. Absolutely.
Well, when it's took a month out of the season already, hasn't it?
Yeah.
2-week breaks. That's a month gone out the season.
Pathetic. And I'm going to talk, when Keith comes on, I'm going to talk about the debacle over the new stand. I really do. I want to get that out of my way.
Christmas.
He says, you feeling any better, Frank? Yeah. I'm feeling a lot better. And if you know what I mean, there's still pain there, terrible pain. But I'm getting there. And tomorrow I'm at the hospital again, which is unfortunate. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. Charlie Woods, hello, Frank. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charlie. And JK, there he is. Mutterstadt. Mutterstadt. Evening, Frank and Vaza Flowers. Hope you're feeling better, bro. He's a lovely lad, him. I wonder if he can come on. I'm sure he said that he was coming on tonight. Now then, Frankie, looking well, mate. And, look at that. A chaser and everything from Tony Barton. Do you know what? I'll tell you a little story about Tony. I said on my ordinary show, I said, and I was coming up to Christmas. I said, I haven't had a mince pie for ages. I said, and I love mince pies. He brought me a tray from Costco. I'm only on my own. And the huge those ones. He brought me a full snail. That's a freeze. Oh, it's great. That's Tony, fantastic.
I like the freshly baked mince pies with the dusting on the top. Well,
that's what these are. That's what these are.
They're lovely, Dan. Lovely. Yeah.
Stephen Snape says it's a good quality gear from there. Years ago, the match going experience wasn't complete without the shrill and the cry of hat, cap, or badge. Absolutely.
Well put, the
Absolutely.
shrill cry.
Yeah, the shrill cry. All right, lads, shows the form. Okay, up the Reds. That's Brian Headley. I just want to go when I mentioned about George Sefton's book, Steven Gerrard. Yeah, because that's all I ever said. You know when Stevie scored, brilliant. Oh, there's me mate there. Look, they're all mates. They're all mates. Steve Evans, evening lads, on the bus here. He's going home on the bus. And yeah, there's a pint for you off Tony Barton. Hello, Lee. And a pint and a thumbs up. Tony Barton, thank you, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
International footy is awful, says Steve Evans. Thanks, Steve.
No arguments here.
No arguments from any of it. I'm not interested in them. I don't even watch it, you know. No, I don't watch it. That's the end. Good to see you looking a lot brighter, Frank. You too, Lee. Looks like. Hang on a minute. Just hang on a sec. I've got a message off our producer. Oh, good. He sent JK a link. So, JK, if you're listening, you've got a link to come on.
Jay Kismet.
Yeah.
Sound.
He's a lovely lad. He's one of the lads anyway. Okay, just let me go through these, then we'll start. Just waiting for JK. If no Liverpool player ever played for England again, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. So say all of us. Well, I don't know about all of us, but what about you, Lee? Would you agree with what?
Yeah, I agree. Trent doesn't get any respect, real respect.
No, he doesn't.
There's Gomez. I mean, Jones will probably get picked for the senior squad before long, won't he? But if they treat him as badly as they've treated Trent, then I hope they don't pick him very often. Yeah. But for Curtis himself, Frank, I'd like him to get the caps if he wants them and that. But no, it wouldn't bother me at all if he didn't. As long as it wasn't a terrible snub, making the lad look soft.
Yeah. And there's Lee Brady, lad, dad, and detectorist. I agree that. He said, we're at the hospital ourselves tomorrow, and Whiston only found out 3 days ago my missus is over 5 months pregnant. That's a big shock to us.
5 months? What?
Exactly. I don't have a clue myself, but...
That's more than half term, isn't it?
Yeah. He said, JK said, I'll come on it, as soon as I get the email, but he's got it. He should have it anyway. I'll be down soon, Frank, with your mince pies, Tony Barton. And he will, he comes round and clean them. It's unbelievable, honestly, God. And he came with his wife. And, we was just having a cup of tea and a laugh, and really just a lovely couple, to be honest. Great fella, then. He's Angie Edit's mate, actually. Angie Edit knows him well, rather than me.
Hey, Frank, what's your Italian heritage? You were saying Italian in your family?
Yeah, my mother's name was Angelina Maria Yolanda Volanti.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
How exotic was that?
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it's we all are. It's all us, because there was lots of sisters and
lots of aunties and uncles. Then did you have?
Yeah, and you know what? All our family's name, especially Anthony and Michael and Francis. You know, there's loads of them because it comes from the Italian side. You see, those like me and Franco, Francis, Franco.
Yeah, there's a lot of Latin in English, isn't there? There's a lot of like Latin part, a lot of words derived, like, you know, from Latin, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Charlie Wood says, I can imagine you sitting there on Christmas Day with your paper hat and mince pie. God bless us, everybody. Yeah, on my own. On my own. I've been on my own for years. And Jen fell out with me because I said I'd go up for my Christmas dinner. This was last Christmas. And I said, yeah, I'll come up. But I take Francine out every Christmas Eve. It's a tradition I've been having for years with her. Just me and her, you know, go out, meet the likes of you and everybody else. And I had a terrible hangover. So I said, I can't go up. I'm sorry. You know, I feel a bit shocking, which it was. And he hasn't spoken to me since. How about that? JK says he's shorted anyway. And Brian Edley says, hope you're not pregnant. Anyway, good Snapey, all good. Hope you're well, mate. We'll give you all that call at the weekend. Good. That's nice coming from. So what do you think? You know, these, as you meant there before about, you know, these international breaks. And you know what? Sometimes it stops the rhythm of Liverpool. We've had problems in the last two games. You know, as I keep saying, we were cheated at Tottenham. And there was some terrible decisions against us and some terrible defensive errors for a draw. It's just so. What do you think of the breaks? Personally,
I think they're inordinately long. It's 2 weeks, Frank. We didn't used to have that years ago, did we? Where they went,
no.
It was 2 weeks. It used to just be a one weekend without First Division football, wasn't it?
Well, when I go back, they used to play midweek internationals in the midweek on a Wednesday. Then all the teams, you know, no matter where they came from around the country, all plays on the Saturday. They had no breaks or anything. They had no breaks, you know, like now, they won't play until the following weekends, if you know what I mean. It's pathetic. And that's why people are getting fed up with these international breaks. I just want to ask for the comments of the lads on here. The 70s, Liverpool players were an afterthought. Roger Hunt only won in the 60s. Ray Clements got pushed to the sidelines by Shilton. Do you ever remember that?
Yeah, my stepdad used to go mad about Clements being behind Shilton. I know Shilton was a good goalie, but
he wasn't as good as Clem.
Phil Neal didn't play, did he, very often at right back?
No.
Alan Kennedy didn't play very often at left back.
No. The only fella, I think it was when we won the first European Cup in 77. I was there in Rome myself. And the only fella, a manager, England manager, he picked the whole lot of Liverpool, and that was Ron Greenwood. After we won the European Cup, I think 8 of us played in that particular, 7 or 8, or lower than 7.
I think I remember the picture. I think I remember the picture of all 8 of them in their England Admiral trackies. They had Admiral on the back, and there was Ray Kennedy, Terry McDermott, Phil Thompson, Phil Neal,
Tommy Smith.
Tommy Smith was finished. I'm thinking around 1980.
No, Tommy Smith scored. Tommy Smith scored in Rome.
No. I mean when Ron Greenwood was manager in the early 80s. Because
no, it's the 70s, believe me.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, yeah. But that's where I was thinking of around 1982.
Yeah, well, he stayed manager. He stayed manager for he never just like picked one game and got off.
That's one of my favourite football songs, England's World Cup song from that year. I was only a little kid. We're on our way. We are Ron's 22. Hear the roar of the red, white and blue.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
I like that as a kid.
Well, Stephen Snape says they have some real issues with the international breaks, but chief among which is that we're always early kickoff. Why is that? I can't understand that myself. And he's right there, Stephen Snape.
This will be our 13th half-12 kickoff after internationals, and the next most is Man City with 5. We've had 13 kickoffs at half-12 after the internationals.
That's shocking, that. That's shocking. And we're terrible for them.
5. That's 8 less.
Yeah. Well, Stephen says Terry McDermott was on that picture, Lee.
Yeah, he was, yeah. McDermott.
I think he was one of the most underrated midfielders we had. Terry Mac.
Yeah.
And do you know who else never gets mentioned, hardly mentioned? Ray Kennedy. Hardly gets mentioned. You know, was a great midfielder that we had. We know he was a great midfielder. Don't get me wrong.
Wasn't he?
He gets mentioned, which is sad.
He scored every type of goal, didn't he?
Yeah, every. Oh yeah, every type. And there's JK here. All right, JK.
Hello, Frank. How you doing, bro?
We're all right. Thank you. And there's Lee.
All right, mate.
Good to see you, Lee. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, not bad, mate. How's yourself? All right?
Yeah, but everything good, bro. Everything good. I'm just happy to see Frank smiling. You're looking better.
Thanks very much. I hope to be a lot better next week, to be honest. But anyway, hey, Jay, what about what we've just been talking about these silly internationals and international breaks? What's your take on that?
I've been saying for years that the footballers are overplaying. They're not physically capable to handle so many games.
Yeah.
And that's why you've seen a lot of injuries coming through in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I also believe that in the old days of football, the players had a bit more weight on them.
Yeah.
The new modern day player, I don't think they've got a gram of fat on them. So with that comes injuries. Being too fit might be not a good thing, I think, sometimes,
Yeah.
Especially in football, being over fit. You've got to have a bit of I wouldn't say weight, but a bit of substance behind you,
Yeah,
not too skinny, not too fit,
Well, do you know what, Lee? You were talking about injuries when they got back. I tell you, he was ruined by England and these stupid games. And I thought he was a great player for us. I really did. And so did everybody else, was Jamie Redknapp.
Jamie Redknapp. You know what? I knew you were going to say him then. I just sensed you were going to say Jamie. Yeah.
So what do you think, Lee, about the likes of Jamie Redknapp? Every time he went to England, played for England, he was always injured. And he was out for weeks, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he missed the cup final, if you remember.
Yeah. The injuries he got with England ruined his later career for Liverpool.
Yeah.
It was from about 25 onwards or 24 onwards, he had bad injuries. Before that, he was sound.
All the time.
We've had Gomez got injured. You remember when Van Dijk got done by Pickford?
Yeah.
And then days later, Gomez was out for the season. That was training with England.
That's yeah, it was. I forgot about that. It was training with England.
Training with England, yeah.
And that's how we struggled, to be honest. I'm just going to go down here a minute because there's some comments here, and I want you and JK to comment on them. Let me finish, okay? These comments. Hang on. Terry McDermott. Oh, yeah, I said that. I'm sorry. This is the one. Souness, Case, Ray Kennedy, and McDermott probably best midfield, ever midfield. Steve Evans, great player, Redknapp, useless pundit. I think he's all right as a pundit. I really do. Well, the thing is, you see, why I like him, I remember him having a go at Mason. Mason was saying we were going to get stuffed and everything, Arsenal. Yeah. And he got his bloody eye wiped. I think that was in the, we were playing them in the quarterfinals of the CL. Yeah. And we beat them 4-2. Remember that game? That was one of the best games I saw at Anfield. That. Yeah. And I just ask all the lads out there and girls, if there's any girls looking in, just press the like, please. If you haven't subscribed, just press it. Costs nothing. And comment, because we will hopefully be able to read out your comments, just like what we're doing now. And as Brian Edley says, these modern day players seem to play up to it is in the games before internationals and even after it. They need to wise up. I don't mind the international break for qualifying games, but why do we have stupid friendlies? This is what we're going on about.
Yeah.
This is what we're going on about, unfortunately.
Friendlies should be gotten rid of, shouldn't the international friendlies during the season?
But why do we
have one at the most during a season? The rest all should be qualifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think, Lee? GA?
Well, listen, what you were saying last week.
You're breaking up, Lee. You're breaking up, mate. Sorry. You're breaking up. Can't understand what you're saying. It's as though you're underwater trying to speak. That's the sound it is. I'm sorry about that.
Or on the back of a motorbike.
But but I agree with Charlie Woods, these international friendlies, what's that all about? And some big top players could get seriously injured no matter who they're playing for as well.
England-Scotland was a friendly, wasn't it, recently? That was a friendly, England-Scotland.
Yeah. Neil Broderick, a weekend without Premiership so England can have a friendly against Australia. Good day. A weekend without Premiership so England can have a friendly against Australia. What's that all about? It really pees me off. It really does. Hope the Italians smash England, even though international footy is awful. Well, that's the, you see, that's the. He's it just says it doesn't.
The word cack is disappearing, Frank. You don't hear the word cack much now. It's disappearing. No. It's bad. Because it's a nice, pleasant way of saying excellent, isn't it? Like, it's not a vulgar way of saying it. If there is a non-vulgar way of saying it.
I don't like the S words, but I just don't use it. You never hear me using it. I never write it. I think it's disgusting, to be honest. I don't know. Lee, you still there? Can you let's hear you speak?
Hello there.
I'm sorry, JK. I'm sorry. Let's hear you speak, mate.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Is that okay?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it.
That's better, yeah.
So what Charlie Woods said. He's all right. He takes the likes of qualifying games, which everyone does, to be honest. And friendlies are absolutely useless. They are, and as Steve Evans says, or was it no Neil Broderick? What he said was against Australia, everything stops for a friendly. So, what's your take on that, Lee? James, sorry.
For me, if Southgate played Harry Kane, Trent, and like the regulars, then you say, what's he doing? Give them guys there, you can try other players. Then I can understand that side of having friendly games where you can rest players and give other players a try, to see how they get on. Yeah. That's the only thing about friendlies. That's the only good thing about friendlies, for example.
Yeah.
But as I said, overplaying the players. They run out of steam, at the end of the season. April, May, they run out of legs,
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. And I just want to get on before he goes. Mo was playing in a friendly area. Grim, this lad. Frank, I'll call in tomorrow night. Oh, thanks, mate. That's Steve Evans coming down to see Frank, to see how he is, I suppose. This might ruffle a few feathers, and if so, I apologise. But my only concern is our club's players. Lee's right, our lads get no respect when they play for England. Our club pay their wages. What's your take on that, JK?
It's true. Like, no one even knew who fouled Gomez. I knew it was Harry Kane who fouled Gomez when he got injured, when he went away with England. Trent, he wasn't even going to get a look in, in the last 2-3 years. They've actually disrespected.
It's gone again. It's gone again. Something wrong with his mic. There's definitely something wrong with his mic, unfortunately. So what do you think about, the response by Stephen Snape?
Yeah.
These our lads get no respect.
Yeah, he's spot on. They don't. England are one of the worst national teams for that. Taking players for granted and that. And then when they need a rest, they don't rest them and stuff like that. I tell you what I would like. I'd like Virgil van Dijk to get a bit of a rest off the Netherlands. They play him every game. He could do with a bit of a rest, Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Or he could he could do with someone being a threat to his place.
I'm gonna ask everyone a question. I'll just go down here. Right, I'm gonna ask a question, and I hope Keith comes on in a moment.
Yeah, I jumped back out and jumped back in.
Oh, that's great. That's great, JK. We can hear you clearly now. We can hear you clearly. Like the song, I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
Lovely song.
Right, I'm going to go through these and I'm going to ask you the question, okay? Mo was playing in a friendly area, grim this so he's having that. Neil Broderick says, I'm having spaghetti bolognese for me tea on Wednesdays. Agreed, Steve Evans, Forza Italia, absolutely. I support the Azzurri, always have done, even from a kid. Wasn't Jamie Redknapp the youngest player to represent LFC in a European match?
Probably was, yeah. Maybe Sterling then beat him after that. I think Sterling might have beat him after that. But I think at one point he would have been 17 and a quarter or something. He was only 17 when he first played for us in Europe.
Yeah.
I know that much.
Yeah. You don't realise these things, do you? You know, you just being the youngest and the oldest. I think the oldest player to play for Liverpool was Milner. You know, to end his career here. 38. Brian Edley. With these qualifiers for World Cups, Euros, each group should go straight at it as soon as the league. As I think that as soon as the league are over 2 weeks or so, then that's it. No more international breaks. That'll never stop the international breaks, though. I just want to say again, can you just press the likes, please, if you're out there and you know you're tuning in.
Thank you. It's the last international break before Christmas, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what Brian's saying.
Yeah, there's none in November or December, like, mercifully.
See, as with Virgil and the Dutch, Robbo's heavily relied upon by Scotland. He too could be given a rest. I think he's losing his intensity, in my opinion, Robbo. And that's the question I was going to ask. So, good reminder there. And I'm going to go to JK here. Do you think Robbo is losing his intensity?
I would say he's losing his direction. And more. Some of his passing and crossing, he isn't like he used to be before. Pinpoint, bang, reaches them. Him and Mane were unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he's lost that little criticalness, you know, just being perfect with the pass, perfect with the cross. Energy-wise, he's still got it to a level, I would say.
Yeah. It's horrible, though, isn't it?
But also in the games where... Yeah, but I was thinking in the 2 games where we went down to 10 men, Robbo actually got himself up, got the other players rallied up. So I think he's doing all right, you know, Robertson. I think people just look at what he was before. And I think that's what a lot of football fans do. They just look at what a player was before. And if they're not exactly doing the same, he's not good enough now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's right, maybe it's not. But
we're used to such high standards from Robertson.
Well, that's it. They are high standards, aren't they, really? And this is what we've expected. But unfortunately, even from last season, he used to be a great crosser of a ball. Now, Lee, why do you think he's not a great crosser of a ball now? And I'll give you my opinion, or theory anyway.
Go on, I'd like to hear what you got to say first, Frank, about it.
Okay. You know, like he's lost his intensity. He has. There's no question about that. Because even Marino, remember his penultimate, his final game at Man United, he said, all I seen all night was up and down by Robertson. And he was great. I think he's burning out. And by the time he gets where he runs to, and he starts to cross, I think his leg isn't that, powerful because it tires. That's what tires you. It's your legs that tire.
Well, I said on Jamie Phillips' stream before that I think Costas should play more to give Robbo a bit more of a rest because he's playing all these internationals as well and playing a lot for us. I'd give Costas some more. Well, when we have a team that we should beat at Anfield like Forest and Toulouse, he'll play against Toulouse, but I'd like to see him play against a club like Forest and play a few of those Premier League games that we should have been too much for the opposition.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Robertson get a bit of a rest then.
Yeah. It's just anyway.
It's been an intense schedule for Robertson, hasn't it, these last 5 years?
And that's the point. That's the point, Lee.
You know, see what it's done to Fabinho.
Yeah. He's been running up and down that wing for 6 years, running up and down every game. And he was hardly ever out. He was hardly ever injured as well, because he's good that way. You know, we could rely on him without injuries. What's your take on that, JK, about Robbo?
I think, as Lee just said, yeah, he should be rested for certain games. You know, certain like Burnley. For the, I think someone just wrote in the messages that he's hurt his shoulder or something against Spain tonight. I'm not sure if that's true. So
I'm not saying we should take some of the lower Prem teams less seriously, because Klopp never does that anyway. But I think we could beat them teams and play Robertson, and also play Costas, and also play Costas in the cup games in the week, and just give Robbo a few weeks to rest. When the fixtures are right, and we've got some games at Anfield against sides that we know we should beat, let Robbo rest. Let him rest in the midweek as well. Let him rest his legs and see what we get out of him when he's a bit more rested. Because Costas, you know, like I said before on Jamie's stream, Frank, Costas plays better. Like any player plays better when they play more games, and Costas needs more minutes to show better form.
Yeah. Daryl Murray says, how did you get on at the hospital, Frankie? They gave me some things and whatever, but I'm getting better, actually. And I've got to go back in the morning. And the unfortunate thing about going back in the morning, I'm missing a good friend of mine's funeral. But I've got to go to the hospital, and it's at the same time, which is...
Some things are more important. It's sad, isn't it, when that happens? But, you know, that can happen, can't it?
Yeah, Jake Abrams, sad. Thanks, Darryl, for asking about me. Thank you so much. And Lee Brady says, Robbo badly injured, something to do with his shoulder, playing for Scotland tonight. I just read.
Flipping, I hope that's not too bad. I hope it's not bad.
Well, it says badly injured. I forget who got injured with his shoulder. It was Mo Salah, wasn't it? But that was at the end of the season, in the Champions League final, when that Ramos pulled him down. I'm going to talk now. I've been waiting for, unfortunately, I don't see him, Keith Taylor. I was just talking to him before on the phone. Just talking to him. Just lost. I'm going to ask you now, JK. I'm going to read out this comment, see what you think. The day we started work on the Annie Road extension, NASA sent a probe to Mars. The probe has returned in time with 500 seats to be installed. And this is my point. JK, the stand won't be until next year. What's your take on that? Is it anyway? What's your take on it, JK?
I think the whole topic's just, I wouldn't say embarrassing. It's just could have been better handled, and a lot of time wasted, you know, in what realistically they're losing money, because how much money they would generate on the match if the stand was open fully would actually pay for the stand quicker, you know what I'm saying? So I can't understand the duration they've taken. They can't even get the seats in.
No,
you know? I don't understand what's taking them so long. You know?
Well, to be honest, JK, I think it is embarrassing.
I think it's extremely embarrassing.
It is. It's totally embarrassing, because I was watching it just before, you know, that drone fella.
Drone man, yeah.
And he went up, And what I said, the cladding still needs doing. It's a disgrace. There's little fiddly bits, you know what I mean? There's little on the corners and at the end, and it's shocking. Then you have the brickwork still needs doing. And
that company that was doing it first, Frank, and went out of business for a good reason, because they're rubbish.
Exactly. They got the cheapest skates in. They got the cheapest. And they must have knew about the due diligence, to be honest, simply because they were in trouble building Fulham stand at the same time.
Yep.
So they must have known about it. They must have done. Yet they bring them in. And look what's happened. I said last year, and people can confirm this who know me, watch me shows. They'll confirm. I said this will not be ready for the start of next season. No way will it be. And I was proved right.
Do you know what, Frank? There is one silver lining, which there always is. It's another nail in FSG's coffin, because it's made them look inept. It's made them look inept at building one stand in the modern day, and they couldn't get it done by Christmas. It was meant to be done for the start of the season. Then we heard it's costing them a fortune in lost revenue as well as making us look it's making us look a bit amateurish, isn't it? This new stand, it's dragged on so long.
Well, if you look at it, why didn't they just pay? You know, I'm certain. Forget Buckingham now, because they went into administration, as you know. Why didn't he just pay a reliable firm to come in to get it done? Because there's only a few fellas working on it. And don't forget the inside as well. And there's a corner where the away fans sit, and that big hole there, and they haven't done anything about it. It looks stupid, and it's annoying.
I've just got a mental image of John W. Henry and Tom Werner thumbing through the yellow pages and finding the cheapest one.
Yeah.
The cheapest quote. They probably tried about 20 before they found Buckingham.
Exactly. I'm glad you said Buckingham, not to start with the F word. But I'll tell you what, Lee, honestly, mate, and this is genuine. Do you know the Red Sox supporters?
Yeah.
They had murder with them because they wanted a new ground. Everyone's getting new grounds, you know, over there in America, big teams. They turned around and said, no, we want to keep it as a tradition. You know, this old ground that they've got. So they put a few iron bars in place, you know, to make it more solid. But they wanted, and they had murder with them. We wanted a new stand, a new ground, whatever they have there.
Mm.
And they wouldn't do it. And that's, I don't know. Can't blame. Look at this one. Isra Shah. Hello, Isra. Have you heard of him before? No, don't know these people. Robertson was a metronomic, up and down. That left flank, even a small drop off, is noticeable in his contribution, which has become apparent in recent games. I think it was the end of last season as well. Say Stephen Snape. I love you, Frankie. Such a lovely, lovely man. You really are, says Darryl Merry. Thank you. Thank you. There's a few people who don't think of me. It's a problem. Especially FSG. I don't know where Keith's gone. I really don't. I was talking to him just before the show. He said he'd be on about 15 minutes late. Arthur Schofield's, what I noticed over the last few performances in the defence, Robbo has been playing more more concern about the way it is and not concentrating on in his own position.
I agree with that, Frank.
Yeah.
It's changed. His position's changed, hasn't it? With someone stepping into midfield, it's a back three. And if he is injured, if he did get injured for Scotland tonight, I'm little bit worried. Not that Costas won't give his best, but he'll be playing that left centre back, left back role.
Yeah.
So,
and you'd see how he performs with that particular role. And what do you think, JK, of what Arthur Schofield said or says in the last,
As I was saying, like it was the games where we went down to 10 men. He had to concentrate on how the game's going, not really concentrate on his left back position. And I think because the season we've had this guy sent off, this formation and stuff like that. Diaz doesn't also help Robertson as much as Mane used to as well. So you've got to look at all these type of sort of facts as well, you know. The guy's been a machine for 6 years straight.
And I know that's what that's what we've been saying, you know, running up and down that wing for 6 years and non-stop. And he hardly ever got injured. I really believe he's been burnt out or burning out, if you know what I mean. And he's got slow. He's 30, isn't he? He's 30 now.
Yeah, he needs a bit of a rest. He needs a bit of a rest, like in the Premier League.
Yeah. Agree. Totally agree with you. Oh, yeah, I'll just bear with me, lads. Hello, Frank. We saw this coming months ago. FSG with another underwhelming reinvestment in the club. This time, it's the stand. Yes. Brian, a link's always been sent out to you, you know. Brian lives over in Seattle, by the way. I think Seattle in Washington State it is, isn't it?
Everything about FSG is underwhelming, isn't it?
Yet there's people who love them. And all as they say is, look where we are today.
I don't think that's an argument.
It isn't an argument, of course it isn't.
We could just do better, Frank. All the money we've made over recent years, they could have reinvested a bit more. If they would have reinvested a bit more that summer before we had the quadruple tilt, if they would have bought a centre-back that summer, we could well have done that quadruple. We could well have got an extra 2 points.
Yeah, I totally agree again. And 2 years ago, I was for a couple of midfielders actually, and we get them this season from a couple of years ago. Yeah, Robbo used to run at people on a speed. Even now, he is probably that burnt out. He isn't up for it now. He will go down the wing a bit, then stop, turn, and pass back. I forget who said that as well. I really forget who said that. And as Neil Broderick says, half a stand. And it is half a stand. Yeah. Like Liverpool, it's like Liverpool went shopping in Netto instead of Waitrose for cowboy builders. And I think you're right. And that's let's see what Brian says here. It's just a thing to Brian for now. This isn't making excuses for FSG, says Stephen Slade. But one of the reasons for the protracted delay in the Annie Road extension is a lack of skilled labour, but that's not to deflect criticism from FSG. Absolutely.
I'm expecting FSG to put out a statement saying there has been a lack of concrete.
Yeah. Well, there's your answer there from Steve Evans. Robbo has been crocked.
Oh, man. No way.
Yeah, there you go.
We were just talking about, before we found out, before the first comment that referenced him getting injured, we were just talking about him, weren't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think I mentioned this on Jamie Phillips's pod this morning. I said this time last year, imagine, the dopes who wanted Klopp out, and Charlie would say still one Klopp to go before FSG.
Really.
It's just, look, this is Steve Evans. I'm going to go to you, JK. Done a shoulder, I've just been told. That's Robbo. What's your take on that, JK?
He'll get his rest then.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he will take that time to reflect going as well. If you understand my point. Shoulder's going to take a good month, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he'll have that time to just like sit up, lie down, put his feet up, and reflect on his own game and recharge his batteries a little bit more. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise when certain things happen. So the positive out of him getting injured today, he'll have time to put his feet up.
Yeah. No, I agree there.
What if Tsimikas gets injured playing for Greece? That's a nightmare scenario, but one that could still happen. If Kostas got a knock playing for Greece. And
well, remember, you mentioned this before, and I want you to talk about, I've got to make it, it's 9 o'clock, got to make a cup of tea, I've got to take a tablet. Is that all right? And just carry on. Can you see the comments there, Lee?
I can see Steve's, yeah. You can see the ones that are up on the screen.
All right, mate.
Okay, we can just talk anyway, Frank. You know what I mean? We can just go on where we were.
Okay, because I really
need talking to JK about Robbo or whatever. Or
yeah, no, that's cool because I have to take this tablet. You see, I really do.
Okay,
as Steve says, he's done a shoulder, and I've been told. You mentioned it before about when Virgil, got injured, and I mean badly injured. He was out for the season, really out, and he's still struggling with it today, by the way. And Gomez right after, play for England, and we struggled, as you know, didn't we?
We had no centre halves. We only had 3. The other one was massive. He started 6 games that season and finished only 3.
Yeah, because he's injured. Believe it or not, he's injury prone as matter. So go ahead. I'll just say what Darryl says here. As soon as Andre comes, the better for me. If we sold him in the defence, right, the DM, and McAllister and Szoboszlai to let loose our front 3, do you know how class we are going to be? Do you know what class we're going to be? Yeah, of course we know what class. Can you comment on that particular comment there, please, Lee? And JK, while I do this. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if Andre comes in, he should be able to dovetail with McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, the other midfielders, and of course the attack and the defence. He looks like an excellent player to me. His price tag is like really low as well. It's about £30 million, I think, or between 25 and £30 million. So it's not a lot of money, is it? It's not a massive gamble, is it? That some people are saying, "Oh, we won't suit the Premier League," but we've got a lot of midfielders. So when he comes in, we won't be desperate for Andre to start. If and when he comes in the January, we won't need Andre to start straight away. He'll be able to get used to the training, get used to the pace of the game, whatever, just playing training games, and then we bring him in slowly.
Yeah, so I think Daryl's wrote 34 million. He's been quoted with that. Thing is also, when he comes in, there's no like a responsibility that he has to start straight away and stuff. Like, we sort of let players in, but we always do January signings. So I think he will be our regular January signing, this guy.
If I'm honest, I'd really like a centre-back as well, but I can't see FSG buying 2 players in the window. It's not impossible, but I think if they buy Andre, they'll probably buy only Andre in January, when I would like to see a centre-half. I think if we bought Andre and a centre-half, a left-footed one, hopefully, I think we could win the title, as long as we're still within reach of City in January, which I'm hoping we will be, Jay.
Yeah, City this year, I said about a month ago, I just got this feeling they're gonna stumble. And what's happened? They had that week where they couldn't win, and I think we didn't take full advantage of that against Tottenham.
We weren't allowed to take advantage, Jay, because VAR screwed us right at the beginning. If we'd have went 1-0 up in that game, Klopp would have made different subs at half time. If we go 1-0 up in that game, make it to half time, which was only about 6-7 minutes away, he'd have brought different subs on. We'd have probably won, and we might well have carried on winning at bloody Brighton. Who knows? But it just took in me crawl that they dropped 5 points, and so did we. When losing the first game was unnecessary and only happened because of VAR.
Also, the own goal by Matip. I think this should be Matip's last season for us. I love the guy, no problem, But the thing is, both goals against Tottenham, he didn't see the runner coming in, then he had the own goal, I think, and these sort of little mistakes that we're making it's not really, if we took them out of our game, it's always mistakes. We don't actually let other teams score good goals against us. It's always something that we've done ourselves that makes them score, So we need to actually tighten up in our defence. Our midfield's looking all right, and also up top, no problem. But defensively, I think we need to make less mistakes.
Yeah, the mistakes are what have cost us, innit? Like, you know what I mean? We've made that many mistakes now that it's becoming annoying. And I'm hoping that when we get back, we'll see the last of that. But knowing us and tempting fate by saying that, we'll probably make one early on in the derby and go 1-0 down and be up against it.
Yeah, but I think I think the derby, I think we'll go straight out on. I think it's Saturday morning, crispy at Anfield. I think Klopp will tell them that, hey, lads, let's go straight for it, I think the more you give Everton time to get comfortable in the game, it's going to be a bit more dangerous for us. Don't give them time to breathe, just go straight at them, Everton.
Well, the need to beat Everton now is absolutely crucial and essential because we've just dropped 5 points out of 6 and we're trying to stay in the title race. City won't be losing games after the international break, not with Rodri back. They'll go on a run, I reckon, so we're going to have to go on a run to keep with them.
Yeah. As Darrow's saying that we've got Everton, Forest, Brentford and Luton the next 4 games after Everton. So with Everton. So Forest is at home as well. And I think Brentford's at home, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Luton's the only away one, mate. The only away one, Jay, Luton. The others are home games.
Fast starts, get the job done, rest players. That should be the formula for the next 3 home games for me.
Yeah. 3 points, maximum points from all them games is essential. And if we have to expend a lot of energy and all that business, then so be it. You know what I mean? If we can't, we've just got to go all out for it, like, but not go all out for it and get players sent off, or go all out for it and forget to defend and gift opposition goals. The one against. Go on, sorry.
I was just saying that in between them games in the Premier League, we've got the Europa League games as well, and I think Robertson was rested in the first 2 games, wasn't he? So I think that was the formula there. Yeah. But I think Luton away, I'm not going to say it's going to be tricky, but that's should be a 3 points there as well, you know.
Yeah, Luton away, we should get that done. Like, mind you, Spurs only just about won. Did you see that miss by the Luton defender?
Seen that.
Right on the line. He went for, it looked to me like he didn't want to go for it with his right foot, and he let it roll across to his left and just fluffed it, didn't he?
Actually, I watched that game. Luton looked sort of busy. And you know, cup tie in January when the Premier League team plays the first or second division team. It was that type of game, you know what I mean? And I think Klopp can learn something from watching that game by making sure we put our foot down and getting control of the game early on. I think against them type of teams is important.
Well, Luton gave Spurs a real shock there and nearly took a point off them. They deserved a point. And they beat Everton at Goodison, didn't they? So we won't be treating them lightly. Klopp never treats any opposition lightly, no matter the composition, whatever. He never treats opposition lightly. Although the one time he might have last season was when we were away to Forest and we lost 1-0. Darwin got a slight knock and he didn't play Darwin. And we had a lot of players missing that day. We had hardly any players that day. And he left Darwin out. And we ended up losing the game away to Forest, didn't we?
Yep, 1-0,
So, but as I say, it's rare for Klopp to he just doesn't underestimate players. Sometimes things happen, but like he doesn't underestimate opposition teams.
Do you know what?
Do you think he sometimes pays too much respect to him? I was just saying, do you think sometimes he pays too much respect to teams, for example, like your Real Madrid games or stuff like that? You know what I mean?
No, because if he did that, we might have the Champions League might have been different. We went straight for Real Madrid in the Champions League final. We didn't hang about. We were all over them from, until they scored. Like, we were the team that looked like scoring, weren't we? So no, I don't think he gave them too much respect. Like,
guys, I'm gonna excuse me. I've just brought Keith in.
Chance.
Do you know what? I couldn't find my tablet. I couldn't find it. Looking everywhere. My little box of tablets. God blimey! But it's the one I had to take, you see. So I'm sorry about that delay. What was you talking about there, Lee? So I can ask.
We were talking about Andre, about Daryl's comment about Andre, and then we were talking about.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, we just that we.
Well, okay. We have Everton, Forest, Brentford and Luton next 4 games, only maximum points as minimum. Hit there. What do you think about that, says Daryl Merry? Keith, I'll go to you. What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're all games that we should be winning because, if you're going to go by their league positions, the games that we should be winning, but we should be winning them anyway. I mean, especially home games. Luton, I was just listening to you there. Luton's, I seen them against Spurs. I thought they played well. So I think
He deserved a point, didn't he, Keith?
Do what, sorry?
He deserved a point, didn't he, Luton?
Luton did, yeah, definitely. But I just look at, the squad at the moment. I'm just hoping and praying that we don't have any injuries from the international break, because, we've said it loads of times, haven't we, Frank? On the show and when we've spoken to each other, we haven't been lucky, have we, in the past with injuries, international injuries. So I'm just hoping after this international break, you come back, no injuries. We've got hopefully Gakpo back, we've got Jota back, Thiago, possibly Thiago, Bastatic might be back as well. So that's a pretty good squad to
Where's he gone? Where's he gone?
The blackout.
Oh,
blimey. This is absolutely... Oh, is he back? No. Oh, I don't know where he's gone.
It's a power outage.
He's doing well there as well. Don't know what happened. Do you know what? The internet's absolutely pathetic, in my opinion. It really is.
Yeah.
Listen, this is Brian Fennell, and I hope he gets back on. I love Sir Boz. Ever since a TV announcer mentions he's 6'2", but wears a size 8 shoe, all I see now is his tiny feet. Must be the white boots that perpetuate this. Anyone else?
Yeah.
I
know where you're coming from there, Brian.
Oh, where is he? Do you know what? I'll have to phone him, I'm sorry about this, lads. I'll have to get on or just text him or something.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see now, Brian, with Robertson getting injured. So we're going to see a bit more of Tsimikas. If he's injured and can't play after the internationals, then there's going to be a lot of football for Tsimikas, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because Tsimikas, I think he's a better crosser of a ball.
Yeah, he is.
Now.
He is a better crosser.
And, I think if he gets a run of games, like 4 or 5 games, I think he'll improve. That's in my opinion. It's just got here. I've always said Tsimikas is the better left back. We'll see, says Brian Fennell. And now, I don't know whether you heard that he's clocked, Robbo. He's playing for Scotland tonight, and he's
we'll
done
have to wait for the game to finish to find out for sure, Frank.
Yeah.
Once the game's finished, then we'll find out for sure what the score is, like if he's really been it. Actually, we might not. We might not find out till he gets back to the Liverpool medical team.
But he's been well anyway. I'm going to ask Keith, what do you think about what Brian Fennell says? I've always said Tsimikas is the better left back. We'll see. And as I said, Steve Evans came on and said he's being cropped tonight. His shoulder is badly injured. That's the message. So what's your take on that?
Do you know what? I think when Robbo first came in, up until beginning of last season, I thought he was brilliant. But I didn't think he had a great season last season at all.
No.
And when Tsimikas has come in, he's done okay. I'm not saying I wouldn't say he's better than Robbo. I think they're on the par, if I'm honest. But if it had been Tsimikas in that same position as Robbo was at Brighton, I think Tsimikas would have either put his head there or his right foot or got it away. I thought Robbo was at fault for the goal. And, I just think his standards and his how he was, especially when him and Trent were scoring or setting assists and everything else, he just hasn't reached that level and standard that he did a couple of seasons ago and before. It just, for me personally, just hasn't been the same player.
No, he hasn't. And we were saying that before, weren't we, Lee? On JK. We were saying that. And as Daryl Murray says, after those games, you know, which is on paper, we should win. We should win, including Everton, by the way. Then we have City after these games. And that's very important for us. If we want to challenge, you know, we're only, a couple of points behind City at the moment anyway. You know, we're only a couple of points off the leader. Now, the thing is, this is a 6-pointer in anyone's terms. What do you think? Lee?
Yeah, it certainly is. We're away first, aren't we? We're at the Etihad in this first game, so a draw wouldn't be the worst. I mean, really, to beat City, you need to get at least 4. 6 would be ideal, obviously, but you need to get 4 points off them if you're going to beat them to the league. You need to make a dent in their points total against them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
well, I'll go on and ask JK.
We can beat them. We can beat them in their stadium, and we have beat them in their stadium. But it's taken almighty performance and perhaps a bit of luck that we haven't had against them.
No. Well, it is what Stephen Snape says. I'll go on to you all here, by the way. I wouldn't be too sure Manchester City will be as relentless as they have been in recent seasons. Teams are showing they can be got at. If we keep our focus, we could surprise just more than our own fans. What do you think of that, Keith? That comment?
Yeah, I mean, I think City, you've seen that when De Bruyne and Rodri aren't in that team, they're missing something from midfield. And the other one that I wish we'd have signed him, but obviously it was never going to be a chance, was Gundogan, because I thought he was brilliant. You know, not only was he a great midfielder in the engine room, but he scored goals as well.
Scored crucial goals.
Yeah. You know, so it shows that, and I said this, didn't I, a few weeks ago? If City had Rodri, De Bruyne, and Haaland missing, like in the past we've had Van Dijk and other top players missing, any team would struggle to miss the best players. And I honestly do think that City are going. I don't think City win the league this year, and whether that's us or Arsenal, I honestly don't think they're going to, because De Bruyne is going to come back from, by all accounts, that's a pretty serious hamstring injury. I think it actually, they were thinking about whether it was going to be surgery or not. Rodri is a hothead. Get at him. For me, get at Rodri. He's a hothead. And Haaland, he's not been on the same wavelength as he was last season. So, get at them. Let's get in the faces. But I think when it comes to playing City, I think it's imperative that we have, or imperative that we don't have McAllister as the holding midfielder against them. We've got to have Enzo. Let's hopefully over the next few weeks, Enzo comes to the fore, gets up to speed of things, and we have someone like Enzo there and play McAllister and Szoboszlai in the midfield, because that's imperative that we have a proper number 6 against them.
Well, I'll just go to JK to clarify what you're saying and what we're all saying, to be honest. But before then, go ahead, JK.
I just think Lee knocked the nail on the head where he said that we need to take 4 points off them this season, and I think with that you can do something. And I've already said about a month ago that City don't look top, and I think we need to take advantage of that, but we didn't with the Tottenham and the Brighton results.
Yeah. Well, here's my question. And whether you were talking about this before, I don't know. And here's my question too. I'm going straight to you, Lee. Answer it. Then to Keith. Then to JK. And this is very important. And it's about a DM. It's about a DM. It's about a number 6. How imperative is January to get a DM in particular, Andre from Flumezi. Is it Flumezi?
Flumezi. Yeah.
So what do you think, Lee? Is it imperative that we do this?
Yes, for 2 reasons. I think Andre's signing could help us win the league if we're still close to City points-wise in January. And I think if we don't buy him, someone else is going to buy him. So one of our rivals will buy him. And I don't want to see that happen. I wouldn't want to see it go down that way, like for one of our rivals to buy him instead.
Yeah. What's your take on that, Keith?
So from what I've been told, that deal's already been done for 26 million.
Yeah.
So the reason that Andre didn't come to us in the summer is because Fluminense are in. Well, it's their chance of winning some trophies.
Yeah.
Because their season starts at different time to us and that. So I was told that the deal has already been struck and it's 26 million. That's his release clause. So and I think it's imperative that we bring him in because that's his. I mean, I know it's Endo's national position, but I think you tend to find with South Americans, they tend to what's the word? Sort of integrate into Premier League football quicker than others, you know. Yeah. So I just think he's vital to us because, you know, come January, if we're still in 4 competitions and in place to win the league, you know, we could be top, couldn't we? You know, we just don't know. It's imperative that we bring him in, but also I think a right back personally as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, JK? What's your take on this Andre lads coming in? And is it imperative, as we all say it is?
Yeah, I think we need legs in the midfield, a number 6 type of player. Endo hasn't really shown that he's up for it for the big games yet, but we have to wait until January. I'll be okay with Andre, actually. What I've actually seen clips of him and stuff, and I think our transfer policy is actually, we always seem to get good players in. We're not really, I think Kiate was the only guy who really was a failure, and say Chamberlain. But all in all, we go pretty well in the players we picked.
Okay, all right. Thiago can start packing his bags as far as I'm concerned, says Daryl Merry.
Yeah, agree.
Totally agree. I said, close of last season, get shut of him. Yeah. But then again, like this time last year, I said, get rid of him, you know, next season. The next season. Gets injured in February. No one's going to buy him because he's still injured. He's still recovering. It's absolutely ridiculous. We're useless at this. What do you think, JK? Do you think we should have got rid of him anyway? Or get rid of him in the summer, right away?
He's actually my favourite midfield player for us. And normally I heard that hip injuries take a long time to recover from. So when will we actually see him? I don't think we'll see him. He's not going to be in the next 2-3 games ready to play.
No.
And no. So for me, maybe the only good thing I think Thiago is good for when he's not playing is he speaks to the younger players, your Bacic, Jones, Elliott, gives them hints how to play football. So I think that gets him like a ticket to stay longer, if you know what I'm saying. That's the plus point from Thiago, his pass, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I just want him to be fit soon.
Bacic came out specifically and said Thiago's been helping him, like, you know, helping him with advice and helping him with whatever. whatever he needs help with, growing as a young player. Obviously, with them both being Spanish, like, and neither of them are like properly Spanish, are they? Thiago's Brazilian, really, and Bajcetic was Serbian, is he? Something. So they got that in common as well. But he's been a good mentor to him, yeah. He come out and said that, Bajcetic. Thiago was a mentor.
Yeah, but, you know, it's no use having mentors if he's not playing. We need him fit. We need him fit. That's it, you know, he doesn't need him as a mentor. I'm not being funny. But he doesn't. He's playing with under the best manager in the whole of Europe, in my opinion, Jurgen Klopp. And he can make him better. He'd be a better mentor than Thiago. I know Thiago's a good lad and everything else, and is a great midfielder, but we need someone there. Someone there. Someone is fit, in my opinion, the best in the whole of the Premiership is Mo Salah, as fit as him. As fit as him. Get someone in who'll be fit and not just like sitting on a physio's table every day. Anyway, Daryl Merry says, tiny feet, big... Oh, I don't know what that means. That's Slobozlai's little shoes. Arthur Schofield, don't FSG realise, looking at the seating layout in the new extension to Annie Road, just how much revenue is being lost thanks to the delay to complete. Right? Money to buy players. What do you think of that? Get to you, Lee.
Yeah, they're losing out on money, aren't they? We all know that, like, and that makes them look even sillier. That makes it look even more like they should have had it completed at the start of the season. Makes it even more look like they shouldn't have hired Buckingham or whatever they were called to do it.
Buckingham, yeah. Well, Daryl Merry carries on by saying FSG are running out of money. I really believe that. Keith?
Well, they just had the investments, haven't they, come in. So whether that's an investment because they desperately need it, I don't know. But the thing about this new stand, I mean, honestly, I've been fuming about it today, and I spoke to you earlier on, Frank, as regards to it. I'm fuming about it because we had a similar problem with the main stand. You know, I don't know if people are aware, but we actually had a similar problem with the main stand. The main stand was actually close to not being completed on time, because a firm who we had, I'm trying to think, was it Carlyle who we had?
Yeah, first of the major stands, yeah.
Yeah, and they went bust.
Yeah.
So they were the ones from the Royal Hospital debacle.
Yeah,
that's it. That's right. So for me, where's the due diligence in this? Who are the people in charge of doing the research? I mean, is it because Buckingham was the cheapest option? Well, yeah, because that's business. But sometimes business doesn't work out like that. You've got to go for the best. It's like you could go and buy a Kia or a Jaguar. There's a massive difference between the two. And the possibilities are that Kia could go out of business before Jaguar, because Jaguar's been going for so many years and reliable and everything else. So, I mean, for me, yeah, this could, it's scuppering extra revenue, for extra, for new players, and someone needs to be held accountable for it, whether it's one person or a more. It's a joke, and as I say, this has happened with beforehand, and it doesn't put a lot of confidence in me with FSG yet again. For the recent past as well.
No, I think you're so right there. What about you, JK? What Keith has just been saying about this debacle on the stand?
Yeah, I think we're actually past the stage now where it's become comical, you know. And I think, like, as you were saying earlier, there's a big gap where the away fans are that hasn't been filled in for months, you know. And I'm thinking, how long does it actually take these guys to get a crew together and get them seats? You know, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, those Oompa Loompa type of guys, get them in. You know?
But you know, JK, the thing is, though, right, is that, you know, FSG have had time to plan this. They've had all the time in the world.
5 years they've had, Keith. 5 years.
Yeah. So, for me, there has to come to a point where someone, whoever's in charge of the due diligence and the contracts and everything else, someone needs to be held accountable for this. And even going back into sort of August, they knew about it then. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And do you know what? I was with someone this week, or speaking to someone via video link, and we were talking about football. And one of them turned around and said, the problem with your club is you're always in the news for negative reasons. And I said, well, explain yourself, because I was angry at that point. And he said, well, you've just had this going on with the stadium, the debacle at Tottenham, you know, red card, all these different things. He said, it always seems to be that if there's a team or a club that's in the news in English football, it's Liverpool, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons and what have you.
Fair enough.
And you sit back and you
say that if he wants to, like, isn't he?
Well, but you know what, though? You sort of sit back there and think, since FSG have been in charge, he's right in a way, because do you remember when Henry came out? Remember when Suarez, Arsenal put a bid in for £40 million and £1? Yeah. And John Henry comes out and says, what had you been smoking down there? Then we've had like problems with ticket prices, the Super League. Down the years with FSG, there has been a lot of problems, hasn't there?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you know, if you look at other clubs like City, the only club that you could put on a par with us that's having similar problems is Man United. Everton, but that's like because Everton, you know, are problems with the owner because of the Ukraine and Russian conflicts and what have you. Our problems seem to be inflicted by either our owners or the Premier League, FA and officials. You know, so I could sort of understand in a way. And then, as I say, this debacle over the stadium, I sat there this morning and I was literally, honest to God, I've got a couple of things in my office and I threw them. Because I just thought straight away, this is just a joke. This now gives other supporters in the Premier League and around the country another excuse to sort of say, oh, we are Scousers in the news again. Liverpool in the news again.
That's what I said about the newsstand. I feel embarrassed, like, because I know other fans, like, are going to go on about it, like, the ones that visit before it's done. What if it drags on well past Christmas and New Year and it's still not done by February? Midway through February? When they said it's going to be done for the first game?
Well, for me, Lee, in terms of that, that's where, so, you know, when new owners come in to take over the club and they have to go through a process, don't they, through the Premier League and what have you. When companies come in to do this type of things to a stadium, they should go through the same thing as well. So we don't have this type of situation and scenario, because it's embarrassing.
Well, it's bad luck once with the main stand, but twice with the Anfield Road stand as well. First Carlyle, now Buckingham.
And then, but could you imagine? So the rumours are that the club, although they're telling people that the possibilities of extending the COP is, non-existent, that's actually a load of rubbish, because the club are looking at that. So what they're looking at doing is extending it up and back and doing like a tunnel sort of going through at the back. So that's how they're looking at it. But could you imagine trying to extend the COP and this happening again? It's a joke. It's embarrassing. We are 10,000 seats and supporters and spectators down on every single home game.
To pick one building company that went bust is bad, but to pick two building companies that went bust,
it's the cheapest option. That's why.
Yeah,
that's beyond careless, isn't it? It's beyond careless.
Keep mentioned the due diligence. I said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Not just this podcast. I'm going back last year, and I mentioned this to you, Keith.
Yeah.
That will not be finished.
You did, yeah.
At the start of next season, it will not be finished. And people there said, "Oh, of course it will. They're doing great." I said, "They're not," and I've been proved right. And only last week, I said, "There's no way that that's going to be finished for the Everton game, because you've only got to look outside. It's all health and safety now."
Yeah.
Have you seen the state of it?
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Jerome fella said that, Frank. Jerome man with his drone, he said,
yeah, that's
it's
right.
going to be finished by Christmas.
Yeah.
Frank, you said it to me about 6 weeks ago. The way that's going on there, there's only 4 people on it during the day.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. They won't pay. They just will. Say like we're builders. JK, yourself, Keith, and Lee, and I mean of a big frame, and they came to us, we'd get it done.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they've gone to someone who's, I don't know, I think they've gone for a smaller firm. I really do, to get the job done. And look at the state of it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I really
There's John there, my brother. He's got a comment there about Robertson and VVD have dipped in form of late.
Yeah, again. Yeah. And, if you think about it, that's a very good point there. Robbo and VVD have dipped in form of late. Lazy passing and complacency.
Yeah. They're both overtired. They're both overtired from recent seasons.
Yeah.
But I also...
Go on to the gate.
Sorry, I was just going to say, so obviously, my history, Frank, is,
Yes.
I played football, and I knew at one time, I knew I wasn't going to get dropped. I knew I was important to the team, and this was over a period of time. So one point when I went to the
What
stage.
Position did you play, Keith? Sorry to cut in. What position did you used to play?
Right fullback.
I used to play right fullback quite a bit for the school, and I used to like playing winger, but I couldn't get in at winger for the school.
Yeah. Well, so I was at Tranmere, then Chester, and Wrexham. And when I was at Chester, it was the old Diva Stadium, and I went there. It was a fellow called Harry McNally, who was the manager. And so turns up, and at those days, all you walked in with was your boots and your wash bag. You walked in, and I remember going into the changing room, sat there, and you just expected to be picked. And he told the team, because nowadays they give the team out 3 or 4 hours beforehand, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So we're there, and he gives the team out, and I'm not in the starting 11. And around the dressing room, you can see lads going, and even me, and and he put me sub, and I was fuming. But what it done to me was not make me complacent again. And what I'm trying to say is the likes of Virgil, the likes of Robbo, and other players within the team, maybe Trent, can become complacent because Virgil, even though he's the captain, he automatically thinks that his name is the first on the team sheet.
Yeah.
So I think at one point, you know, I know he had that injury, but maybe a game where against maybe a Luton or, you know, Sheffield United, put Matip and Canati in, put Van Dijk on the bench as a kick up the arse, because I do think complacency can affect your form as well.
Of course it can. And I'll tell you another thing, confidence. Now, I don't know whether I've said it to you lads. Do you think that McAllister could lose a lot of confidence because he's playing out of position and he's not playing that good?
Yes. If he continues to play him out of position, Frank, then yes, he will lose confidence because he'll realise that he's taken a lot of the blame from people. I mean, he's not taking the blame from me. It wasn't his fault. Virgil's ball was dodgy the other day. It wasn't really McAllister's fault.
No.
That ball wasn't on, was it, mate? You know what I mean? The ball wasn't on. But, yeah, he will lose confidence if he keeps getting played in the 6 and we drop points. He will lose confidence.
Well, the point as well is, you know, the terminology which was used before by John Gray is complacency. Complacency.
Yeah.
And complacency, you've got to look at Klopp himself and his backroom staff for allowing them to play, you know, and he's not. I don't want to criticise McAllister because he's a great player. So who do you criticise? It's got to be the manager and the backroom staff.
He's not mobile enough for the number 6 for me. He's not mobile enough.
No, he isn't. He hasn't got any
really have the pace to chase players. Once a player goes past him and puts on a little bit of a spurt, he's gone, mate. Yeah. He's past him. And he hasn't got long legs like Fabinho had to stick a leg in.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is, it's like buying Darwin Núñez and playing them left back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we all know.
Yeah.
McAllister, he played, I mean, he was Brighton's player of the year. He was one of the best players in the World Cup. But that's because he was playing as a number 8 or a number 10, not as number 6. He's not a number 6. So that for me, and you know how much I love Klopp, that's down to Klopp and his team, because Endo, you know, that's his position. Play Endo there. Just give him, you know, just play him there. If not Endo, you know, Trent, put Trent there. Play Gomez right back and play Trent as the number 6. You know,
I like Klopp's stubborn streak, but sometimes Klopp's stubborn streak, as with McAllister, can be a bit of a pain. It's sheer bloody mindedness on his part, I think, to carry on playing there.
But Lee, you've actually heard Klopp, you know, saying, "It's my team. No one can tell me what to do or what to say." Because I remember a couple of seasons ago when there was a couple of journalists at the press conference, pre-press conference against somebody. And he says, you know, do you think you'll need more midfielders in the summer? And he went like that, no, they're good enough. I've got a good squad. And that season was awful.
Yeah.
Famous last words, you've got enough midfielders.
That's stubbornness. Because he did panic, and he said afterwards at another press conference on the penultimate day of the window closing, he said, "You were right, I was wrong." Yeah. That's the first time he's ever admitted being wrong. And, you know, the big mistakes, they are very, very big mistakes, and he's realised it. But he should have realised as well, we could have had, I don't care what anyone says, we could have had the young lad, Andre, before January. But they wanted like, how much was it? Was it 30 odd million or something? Nearly 40 million?
So it's 26 million. So from what I've been told is it's 26 million. And sorry for Lee and JK and others out there. So I used to also, so I was involved with the Liverpool Echo and the journalism side and things like that. So I still have a lot of contacts within and the Athletic and what have you. So what I've been told is that 26 million, FSG had been quoted 46 million to bring him in earlier. So FSG being FSG said, okay, we'll wait until then. So we paid the 26. But also that apparently Andre had turned around and said, it's an opportunity for me to win something with the club. Yeah. So, so that was the reason.
Oh, no, that's fine. There's no getting away from it. But it doesn't detract from the big question and the big answer as well, all rolled in one, is that we need a defensive midfielder from the beginning of the season. Yeah. That's what we need. I think he's brought in Enzo as a bit of a panic buy because of the Andres stuff, to be honest. And it just hasn't worked out so far. But as Lee said, give him a chance. As you said as well, Keith, put Gomez out back and put Trent there. But would Trent, be... I don't know.
I don't see Trent playing. I see him like stepping in and being next to a number 6, but without a proper number 6 there, his inverted role is under a bit more scrutiny, isn't it? He needs a proper number 6 there for that inverted role to work properly. Yeah. I think.
The number 6, you're right. The number 6, and you were right there before, Lee. You've got to have someone like a Mascherano, a Fabinho, someone like that, who is able to be quick enough to stop play, break it up. That's what you've got. Get stuck in. McAllister's not that player. Endo is. Because Endo's played right back, centre half, and as a number 6, not for just his national team, but for his last team as well. So for me, I do think it was a little bit of a panic buy because of Caicedo and Lavia. But if he was really on the radar, for the price that we paid for him, he'd have been brought in June or July. Not the time when we brought him in.
Yeah.
I think it's just...
We did say, though, didn't we, that Fabinho didn't play when he first arrived. It took a couple of months for Fabinho to get in the team. So we're just going to have to think that about Endo. The best case scenario is that's exactly what it is. Like Fabinho, we didn't want to put him in straight away. So.
But Thiago, I think he was relying as well on Thiago coming in being fit. Now, Thiago, by all accounts, it's not the hip, that he had the operation on. It's another injury. Now, by all accounts, it's supposed to be the other hip. But let's be honest, since he's been here, how many games has he missed through injury? It's probably more than Keita, on a par. So, I think he was probably relying on Thiago having that, because the reason that they had the operation at the time was, let's get him have surgery, get it sorted so he's ready for pre-season. And that's what the thinking was behind it.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Here's what, can I go on here? Just do this one here. That's a good. The Schofield say, the way things are going, the new stadium at Bramley Dock will be up and running before the extension is ever completed.
Yeah.
I said that on someone's post, actually. I said that on someone's post, but I think it's absolutely... Okay, little football story I read today. George's best story about Ferenc Puskás in Australia. I was with Bobby, Dennis, and Puskás. We were coaching in a football academy in Australia. The youngsters we were coaching did not respect him, including making fun of his weight and age. We decided to let the guys challenge your coach to hit the crossbar 10 times in a row. Obviously, they picked the old fat one. Lord asked the kids how many they thought the old fat coach would get out of 10. Whether that carries on, I don't know. But that's Ferenc Puskás, and I remember that story myself, going back years ago. I think it was Dennis Law who said it, or Bobby Charlton, said that particular story about Ferenc Puskás.
Frank, can I just something very similar to that? When I was at Tranmere, Frank Worthington was manager, and watching the other players on the training pitch, and they used to do things like not like how do you do these days with trying to hit the crossbar, but other different things. And Frank Worthington at the time must have been late 30s, easy. And I tell you what, he had more skill, more knowledge, and more know-how than any of those who were there in that squad. And I used to sit there in awe of him, honestly, because that fella, although he put weight on, he was getting on a bit and all that, he still had it, honest to God. And we were saying there about poking fun. That's what they used to have, poke a bit of fun at him. But I tell you, he was absolutely brilliant. You never lose it.
No, you don't. He scored. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this on YouTube or whatever. And he scores. I forget who it was against. I don't know whether. I forget who it was against. And the ball came over. He's just outside the 18-yard box. In that ding. He was just there, and he just flicked it up.
Over.
Players come out. Did you see it, Keith?
Yeah, he played for Bolton Wanderers at the time.
Okay, and he just flicked it over, didn't he? And volleyed it.
Yeah.
That's one of the best goals I've seen.
Yeah.
And that was it. We wanted to buy him, didn't we? And it was
Worthington.
Yeah. It was
yeah.
Failed the medical. We failed the medical with a heart condition, apparently, supposedly.
Yeah, but someone was saying he's spreading these things that he had, a venereal disease, and Shankly said, "Oh, I'm not like that, son." It was a heart defect, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, Frank. I'd heard that it was a drink problem more than anything.
Go away.
Yeah.
I think they all has a drink problem.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, but apparently so he'd done his bloods, and he came back, and so Shanks was fuming that his alcohol levels were very high, and Shanks apparently turned around and said, he should have, if anything, he shouldn't have drank before he came here. And never mind going out and having a few and celebrating. And he said, called him Champagne Charlie.
I believe Worthington Bitter was Frank Worthington's favourite tipple.
Yeah, most probably. Daryl Merry, I'm going to you, JK. We need to look at 3 points off the top and we're not even out of the bottom gear yet. We need to look at it. We are 3 points off the top. I can't hardly see. And we're not even out of the bottom gear yet. What do you think, JK?
I think we're doing okay. As long as we were talking about the Anfield stand not getting finished and stuff like that, we're actually our own worst enemy sometimes. We score our own goals, get red cards, we don't get into the stand. I think we opened up, and as a club all together, I think we're doing okay. You know, I think with 3 points off the top. That's why 3 points against Everton is 100% needed. So we've got the weekend. We can enjoy that weekend, letting other teams lose.
Okay. What do you think, Keith?
I'm not sure if we're out of gear at the moment. I just think there's a couple of players who aren't playing to the level that they should be. That's McAllister. McAllister, for me, has given the ball away way too much. I mean, he's losing possession way too many times. Big Verge, I think, has been. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually thought Gomez and Matip have played well when they've been playing. Virgil, for me, isn't to the standard that he's set himself in the past. And Robbo, I don't think Robbo has actually been playing that well. So when you look at Verge, Robbo, and McAllister, they're the three weak points for us at the moment. But we've got to get. I mean, for me, I don't like this talk about a point against City or Arsenal or Spurs.
Go out and win every game.
Get out there and win. That the mentality of the Liverpool Football Club, especially the era that we grew up in. You go there to win. You don't. Yeah. I mean, I think. I know that we go there to win. Don't settle for the points. Go for the 3 points. If you want to win this league, and City are the standard bearers, aren't they, of winning the league? You've got to go there, go at them. Don't allow them to come on to you. Go for them, go at them. No,
I think you made a good point there, Keith, because just go at them and have this mentality, and we proved that. And we weren't playing so good actually against Newcastle.
Yeah,
when we beat them 2-1. And when we equalised, when Nunes equalised, it was us who was more likely to score, to win the game.
Yeah.
Because we had that mentality. And against Spurs, we were so unlucky. Yeah. We were down to 9 men. And we defended. And it was our own goal. So that mentality is back. But the thing is, we're just lacking that number 6. And what you said about Enzo, and even Lee said, give him a chance there. Give him a chance against not Everton. Give him a chance against Brentford and see what he's like. Or against Everton, why not?
Yeah.
And let McAllister play in his rightful position with Gravenberch and the other fella.
Yeah, I'd start. Honestly, I would start him against Everton, Enzo, at Anfield. Honestly, I really would, because, he can't do no worse than McAllister. He can't. No. I know McAllister sets up a couple of goals, and he sets up the, with the penalty as well and that. But for me, McAllister was in the positions that he was. But he was forward. That's his natural position. He's not number 6. Give Enzo that. And I would personally have Enzo, Szoboszlai, and McAllister starting against Everton. I really would. God willing, barring any injuries. Because McAllister's not a number 6, as we said. He's not a number 6. And about City and that, Frank, sorry, I'm saying about City and that. Just from my experience as a player was, if we come up against a team that we knew were better than us, tactically and not physically but tactically and skill wise and that, I would always remember being told this one particular day: go get in the faces. They're a football team, but they don't like it when you get stuck in. All right, this is 1986, but it was different back then. Get in the faces, get stuck in, and they don't like it. And that day we beat them 3-0. We played, and that's what Liverpool should do, especially the likes of City. They don't like it. If you get stuck in, they don't like it.
You know what, Keith? Remember when that season when we were defending the title and we had no centre-backs? We went to City away and we surprised them and played a 4-2-4 with Jota just off Firmino.
Yeah.
and with Salah and Mane wide, and Jota played just off Firmino, and that took them by surprise. And we ended up getting a 2-2 draw with no centre halves. We only had Reece Williams and Nat Phillips, I think, or it might have been one of them with Fabinho.
It was.
We got a 2-2 draw because we surprised them by doing it at 4-2-4 on them.
Yeah. Do you ever remember when, again, going back to injuries, when Kabak was playing for us?
Yeah.
You know, just think about that for a minute. And, you know, we should have learned from that about getting the centre-backs in. And all that, you know, everybody's been saying right up to the summer, you know, the close of the window, we need a left-sided centre-back.
Yeah.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Vardiol was the one. We should have given RB Leipzig, Fabio Carvalho, and let's say, 50 million?
Yeah.
They wanted it. They wanted to actually buy him in the summer. They didn't want him on loan. They wanted to buy him, but we said no.
We did.
Who was that, Lee?
Cavallo. Leipzig wanted Cavallo. They wanted to buy him.
Yeah, for Gvardiol. If we'd have bought Gvardiol, because we didn't spend all the Caicedo money, did we? After we didn't buy Caicedo, we then spent another 50 million.
I always thought, though, Lee, to be honest, Lee, JK and Keith, that was a spin to get Caicedo. We're never going to go and get him. That was a spin, in my opinion.
Yeah,
whatever. We didn't get him, and he hasn't been so successful at Chelsea anyway. But then again, who has with Chelsea?
Can I ask you and the lads a question here on the views?
Yeah.
And I've said this in the past many times, as you know. Harvey Elliott started the last game. And I've said to you time and time again, Harvey Elliott shouldn't start. At the present moment, Harvey Elliott should not start a Premier League game for Liverpool. He's just an impact player. He's not good enough for Liverpool Football Club. What's your view and the view's view on Harvey Elliott? Personally, he's not been the same player since his injury at Leeds. But I used to look at him as well, that people say about, Sammy Lee was a small player. Sammy Lee was a totally different player to Elliott. Elliott gives the ball away too much. And he's out now, got the record of being taken off at half-time more times than any player for Liverpool. So, wonder what your
mistake, wasn't it, to start him at Brighton? Should have
started.
Well,
the thing is, and we'll go to JK, then you, Lee. You know, you be the last one on that, because I think it's a fair point to make over this Harvey Elliott. And to me, no, he's not at the level that we need, and we do desperately need high quality players if we're going to challenge again. We've got to bring in the high quality players, and unfortunately, this lad isn't Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
it was like Cavallo. When Cavallo, you know, we were all made up when he came. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. He even scored against Newcastle. Remember the last second goal?
And Bournemouth got one against
Bournemouth. Yeah. But, you know, he never quite made it either.
Yeah.
And that's the point. But, yeah, I go along. JK, what do you think of what Keith just said about Harvey Elliott?
Yeah, I agree with Keith. He shouldn't have started the game against Brighton. I wasn't over happy that he started that, but I think technically with the ball, he's like a tight type of player. He knows what he's doing, but I think maybe because of his size, he isn't protecting the ball enough. You know, he links up well with Salah when he plays, but I think he needs, like as Lee said, Keith said about him getting injured, his game sort of changed. But I think football-wise, he knows what he's doing. I would say that about Elliott.
But he does know what he's doing, and you know he is a good player. He really is. But the point is, you know, like starting him he's not good enough to start. And as Keith, in my opinion, he's spot on about being an impact player.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And I was going to ask the fella there, and he's just disappeared almost. But no, it's just all right. 90% of the time, City play bring the ball to the halfway line without being tackled. Every time we play them, we press very high, and you can see it's out there. It's out their comfort zone. That's why we always do well against them, and that's against City. That's what Neil Broderick said. And Daryl Merry, Elliott should be in the Europa League and Cup games. That's a good point. That's a good point. Just saying there, you know what? There's what Keith said about Harvey Elliott. What's your take on him? Do you think he should be starting, or whatever?
Not in the Brighton game, and not in the tough Premier League away games. To be honest, with Gravenberch, Endo, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, I wasn't expecting to see Harvey Elliott start against Brighton.
Yeah, that's right.
It was proved to be a mistake, whether it was Gravenberch or Endo who would have played instead of him. I think we would have done better.
Got a couple of things here, lads. Richard Hutchinson and Abdul Rahim. When is the stand going to be open? And says Abdul, and Richard says, when is the Anfield Road going to open? It's worrying people, and we just had a little tete-a-tete about that, lads, about the stand, and everyone got it wrong. Not everyone, but the owners were putting the onus on the owners about the lack of, I'd say funding and the lack of due diligence, in all honesty, because 5 years we had to get that done. Remember, they was putting up, this is what we're doing, then they were changing their minds and going, we'll have a look at this one, then they bring in more particular architects, and they sorted this one out. But I think it's all because of money. That's why they brought in that, the new investors to pay for the stand, to pay for the access stand as well. It's just absolutely no money for the team.
They've made themselves look more inept than they already do look to our fans by this business with the stand. It's put them in a bad light once again with us.
Yeah, all the time. But we'll have to tell the lads, Richards and Abdul, the way it's going, as someone said, Everton's grounds will be open before our new stand's done. That's the embarrassment. Yeah. That really is the embarrassment. Yeah. And it is embarrassing, to be honest. And that's why I just... And Daryl Merry says, as I said, Frankie, fans are waiting in ballots for weeks and months for FSG to find bargain basement builders. And that's right. It's only what you said, Keith, before.
Yeah.
It's only what you said, about the tickets and everything else. And that private phone call you gave me before. And it's just waiting. But there's lots of people like that. There's thousands of them, isn't there, waiting. And that's the unfortunate thing. I'm not bothered about FSG's revenue, by the way. I'm not interested in them. It's just that the fans, the likes of you and I and everybody else, who can't go the game simply because it's not finished.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, Keith.
Yeah. 10,000 a game. 10,000 a game. That's so far this season missed out. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
That year it isn't finished when they say the next deadline, which is Christmas, comes and goes, New Year comes and goes, January comes and goes, and then it might finally open in February if we're lucky.
Yeah. If we're lucky. Even the inside, you know, that Mr. Drone, as you see him, he goes to the windows, doesn't he? You know, the big windows. And you see all the work stuff. You see it all there packed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
So
has to be worked on.
Yeah.
For a serious company, bloody FSG, for a serious company, they seem very unserious about the stand.
I tell you what,
did the due diligence, did they? They hired
No.
Cowboys twice.
No, this wouldn't have happened at Red Sox.
No, you're right. It wouldn't have. They wouldn't have done
But
it
the
there.
thing is, the Red Sox, they dodged a big bullet because the fans of Red Sox, they wanted a new stand or whatever they wanted. I don't know what you call them over there. I'm not worried. And they wanted a new, and they said, no, we're keeping it as traditional. Do you know what it would have been like? Do you ever remember the old, where the main stands is now, with the old Tudor thing going around the Anfield?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the owners now saying to us, no, we're keeping that because it's traditional.
Yeah.
So the Red Sox fans were going mad. They were fuming. And they wouldn't, because they wouldn't spend the money, and they own it, just like they own us. But the more Red Sox fans, they're not Liverpool fans. They're not interested. They like going to the big finals, like the Champions League final, and going there and clapping and everything else, and waving to people, and bringing all the big entourage as well along with them. Americans who's never seen a football game in their lives. Remember when we used to moan about cup final tickets, and you had all these people who never went the game, never went the game. They didn't know what football was. They were all cricket fans. You know, they'd like to see England at Lord's, yet they went the match, depriving us of cup final tickets. And not just us, but other fans, you know, of the teams. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about with these people. They're not interested. They're not interested.
Wasn't it Roy Keane who said, kissing them the prawn sandwich brigade?
Yeah. And people laughed at him then. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. I said, it's coming along. We could see it. We could see it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's your point, JK. So you'll have to tell you know, those lads that Abdul and Richard about the stand.
Yeah, I was just saying the way football's going now, they're trying to commercialize football to an extent where just before Klopp came in, the Liverpool tops cost £40. You're paying 140 now. So that's the way football's going, and what amazes me, with the money they're making, they can't even get organised to finish a stand. So
well, that's all. You know, that's a very good point, JK, and I'll tell you for why you made that point. You get people who think they've done wonderfully well. They've done wonderfully well with our money, by the way, not with their own, our money. And this is what people are. You know, they're looking at saying, no, they put their hands in and they haven't put their hands in the pocket. They haven't put anything in the pockets. It's our money. It's our brand. Millions every season. Look at all the cup finals. And I'm talking about the CL Cup finals. Never mind the FA Cup final and that Carabao Cup final. I'm talking about them and the revenue of that. The revenue of the advertising, it's absolutely phenomenal. It really is. Television rights, unbelievable. And yet, we can't find the money to build a bloody stand. Yeah. We're getting the cheapest in.
Yeah. And we couldn't find the money to buy a centre back.
Exactly. And that's the point. That's the point. The hedge funders, they borrow off our club or off a bank, so the bank, so our club will pay off. Not them. We could run the club by doing that. And I tell you what, we'd be a bit more savvy on the field, to be honest. And I'm going to go on to two here. I'm going to go on to two things from Darryl Merry and Richard Hutchinson. And I think they're very important. We'll end on this. So let me read the two things out. Why haven't these tosspots not let our club go and we find new loving owners for this amazing club? Okay. And FSG need to get their act together, says Richard Hutchinson. Liverpool FC to fix the stadium and new players. Andrew Robertson got injured against Spain, and any update? Yeah, he's injured his shoulder, Richard. So I'm going straight to you, Lee. What Darryl says and what Richard Hutchinson says. Darryl saying, why don't we just sell? Richard's saying they need to get their act together. What's your, on the owners, that is? What's your
Well, I think a lot of the Liverpool fan base, probably about 70%, maybe 75%, maybe more, want FSG to sell. We've had enough of them, haven't we? We've had a lot of excuses from them. I enjoyed that excuse before. Somebody put it up, the comment, it said, FSG have complained there wasn't enough skilled labour to complete the stand. That's because you didn't look for the skilled labour. You looked for the unskilled labour that was cheap. That's why that happened. And the second point about Robbo getting injured is, it's going to be tough without Robbo if he's out. But we've got a bit of time to wait, haven't we? We're going to have to wait until, I would imagine, unless it's a serious injury where he can come out in half an hour and say he's broke his shoulder or something, we're going to have to wait until he gets back to Liverpool, aren't we? And is assessed by the medical team until we know how long he's going to be out.
Yeah. What about you, Keith? Your take on that? About the owners?
FSG got the club for an absolute steal for 300 million compared to what it's worth now.
Yeah.
And the farcical, I'm trying to think of the right words here. It was a farce last year when he was saying that we were looking at investment. No, what they were doing, and I know this for a fact. It was coming up to the World Cup. England were one of the favourites, potentially one of the favourites to win the World Cup, whether we watch them or not, which I don't. And what they were looking at was getting the feelers out, because potentially we all know that the Premier League is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, most watched league in the whole world. And what they were looking at was potentially looking at England winning the World Cup and enhancing English football even more, then to make the price of Liverpool Football Club even more attractive than what it was. And they wanted 5 billion for it. By all accounts, the offer was 3 billion. The highest bid was 3 billion from India. And so they didn't want to sell for that. My view on that is, look, and we've spoken about this before, whether it's an Indian investment, whether it's a Saudi, Qatari, whether it's whatever it is, we know that. And we look at Chelsea now at the moment. We look at Newcastle. We look at other clubs, Man City, where they're able to go out, and I'm including Man United in this, whether Man United are, getting the stick off Gary Neville or the supporters, they've actually spent more than any other club in the English Premier League over the last 10 years, by far. So they have spent the money. But Liverpool, as a club, and where we are on the Forbes list, compared to what we've spent and what the owners have spent, we're right near the bottom. We want, as a club, as an institution, we want someone to come in and spend the money, put the money where the mouth is, because I think we deserve it as a club. So for me, FSG, I'd love them to go get whoever it is in with the right investment, the right. I'm trying to think what it's got to be for the club, not just anyone, because we could have clowns like Hicks and Gillette, potentially whatever. By the way, with 777. Yeah. There's going to be problems for Everton in the future, by the way. I know we're going off a bit of saying Everton have got a lot of problems coming up with the new investors or the new owners. They're going to be in shit street, Everton, by the way, in the future. But for us, I just think I want the right owners to come in with the right feelings for the club, with the club at heart, invest in the club, invest in the players, and be up there with the Chelsea, the Man City, Newcastle, etc. And we could rule England and Europe just like Man City do at the moment.
Excellent response. What about you, JK?
Yeah, I think it's time to go. I think I think they should. When it's amazing how people don't realize that time can either make them more money or actually make them lose money, because they put the club for 300 million. The time when we won the Champions League, that was the time for them to sell. If we don't get Champions League again this year, so that's going to take a percentage of the price they're asking for off, So, and I also believe that gambling, not even gambling, like giving Klopp the players he needs to win to get the price of the club higher. It's like logic, isn't it? You give 100 million more every summer for Klopp to win, to make the price of the club go higher. It's like a business logic, that is, And I think the Mumbai Indians owners were interested in Liverpool, Reliance Sports, and I think that, as you were saying, they didn't bid it high enough for them to sell. So I think it's about time for them to sell now, though.
Okay, so we'll end with you, Lee.
Do you know what I was saying all summer? Is that as a fan base, I don't think we were asking an awful lot of FSG. And they did buy some players, but they didn't do what they really should have, was bought a centre-half, at least one, to give us a good chance of winning the title. I don't think we've ever asked for too much as a fan base from them. We've never demanded that they spend this and that on players. We just want to be able to compete with Man City. And okay, we can't compete directly, but if they would have bought a centre-half in the summer, I think we could have had a much better chance of winning the league. In fact, of course, we would have had a better chance of winning the league if they'd have bought a centre-half. And I don't think that was too much to ask, because they rebuilt the midfield for less than 100 million after selling Fabinho and Henderson. So why not just spend an extra 35 million on top of that? Why didn't we bring in Cappy in, or when Inacio's buyout clause was still 35 before they made it more? Why didn't they do that? We're not asking a lot as a fan base. I don't think we are anyway. And I don't think we ever have out of these owners. But they didn't do the business. And there's not a lot more to say about that. I won't be happy until they've gone.
Okay. That's brilliant. Listen, lads, I just want to just end on these. We are Liverpool Football Club. We die winning. We die losing. This club is my world. Good night, lads, says Darryl Merry. And Harry's on. Frank, you got this, mate. Praying you are a big okay tomorrow. Big okay. Thank you. That's for tomorrow. I'm going to go to the docks. Not the docks, the hospital. See this bloody surgery. Not bloody, I didn't mean to say bloody surgery. You know what I mean. Great chat as usual, lads, says John Gray. And all as I've got to say to you, Keith, to you, Lee, the vase of flowers. I love that.
Cheers, John. Thanks for tuning in.
And JK Kismet. Go on.
Frank, can I just very, very quickly just ask everyone, as you know, my good mate, Danny Bradley, passed away yesterday, 41 years of age from bowel cancer. Fought it for 4 years. Now, he set up a charity called Team DDB, okay? And they've raised over 130,000 for good causes on Merseyside. That's Liverpool Food Banks, Whittle Food Banks, and children with cancer, who are going through cancer and other illnesses and what have you. Danny lost his life yesterday. Sorry.
Yeah, I know you choked. Choked everybody, to be honest. And Danny's been on my show, as you know. You've been on with him. You've been on my show with Danny.
Yeah.
It's such a sad. He was great.
Yeah.
He was a wonderful, wonderful man who raised everything, and he was telling people. It's just like you've got. I want you to do me a favour, Keith. It's like Jake Abraham. Jake Abraham. I'll show you when I see you tomorrow, Keith. The poster, the play that I'd written, and he was going to star in it and direct it, and the cast was unbelievable. I'll show you it tomorrow. And Jake Abraham, it's killed me. Yeah. And straight after, we've got Danny.
Yeah.
Who's died.
Yeah.
And it's shocking. Francine told me, she said, I'd say 2 days she's told me about Jake and Danny.
Yeah.
Devastating. Will you tell Joseph tomorrow why I couldn't make it to the service?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've got the funeral tomorrow. But what I'd like to ask everyone, if it's £1 or whatever you can afford, if you can go onto Team DDB website and just donate, it's all in a good cause for everyone, for so many people on Merseyside. It's got Danny's story on there. Danny was given 6 months to live 4 years ago, and he battled to the end. This is a lad where there's not many people in life who you say are genuinely lovely people deep down. Danny was one of them. The only downside to him was a Man United fan, and that was the only to take the mickey out of him. But you know what? Honestly, this fella was amazing. He touched the heart of everyone. And all I'd ask is just please, if you can just spare £1, please, if you could donate.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be saying that anyway on my ordinary show on Monday. The history show on Monday. I'll be saying that as well, Keith. It's just terrible. Keith sends
I've got a funeral to go to on Monday, a family one. But loss is part of life, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's something we have to all get used to, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's human life.
Mm-hmm.
That's human life. I always remember watching a little old black and white film called The Body Snatchers, and those people had no emotion. The body snatchers themselves we got rid of the humans and took their profile over, and how you could find them out was no emotions. Yet we're full of emotion everywhere. You've just seen Keith choke up. I get choked up when someone wishes me all the best tomorrow. I hope you're well and everything else. That's what you call emotional. Anyway. Emotional. We're just all emotional. That's all I'm saying. And all I've got to say now, Keith, thank you, mate, and I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to tell Joseph, please, why I couldn't make it. Joseph Abraham, thank you. Yeah. And you, Lee, thank you so much again. You're a good man. Mate. You're a great Red. And our friend down there, JK, who keeps himself hidden behind the curtain. The mysterious man. He's like a priest, isn't he? When you go to confession, he's in. Just tell him we get confession all your sins, and it's just JK. Thank you so much. I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow, Kate. See you next week.
God bless, mate.
Condolences, Keith, to your friend, and hope tomorrow goes well.
Oh, thank you.
No great, JK. Thank you, lads, and I'll see you all next week. I'll see you tomorrow, Keith. Thank you,
God
boys.
Bless.
Thank you, everyone, and everyone out there. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments. Thank you.
God bless, lads.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, lads.
Bye.